So I think I need to explain myself real quickly here about an incident early on in this season. So early on in this season, we got word from Comcast Sports. They wanted to come out and do a little, feature for the local Comcast Sports television on the team. I said, sure, absolutely, right? And so they come on out. They got cameras at practice, and the guy's got a camera here. I have no idea it's on. I had no clue it's on. I thought he and I were just talking, because I thought he really wanted to do kind of a piece on the boys. So he's asking me about some of the players, and I'm pointing out some of the guys, and so I pointed out Brian, and Brian had just scored 4 goals against Grandview in the game before. And I said, this kid, this is really going to be one of the keys to our team. He said, tell me about him. And I thought I was just talking to this guy. I had no idea the camera's rolling, and I think I said something like, to the extent that, Brian's just a moose of a player. Which I didn't think that they would, first I didn't think they recorded it, second I didn't think they would then air it on Comcast Sports, me calling one of our players a moose. But let me explain why. Coach Hyde over there, the English teacher, might be offended that I use the word moose as an adjective, right? That's okay. Right? But here's why, because I'm also a history guy. And I teach American history for a living. And there's a story of former President Teddy Roosevelt. And Teddy Roosevelt in 1912 ran for president after the Republican Party passed up on him. And he ran for a party that he called the Bull Moose Party. And why he did that was because while Teddy Roosevelt was giving a speech, an assassin came up and shot him in the chest. And Teddy Roosevelt finished the speech, right? And asked afterwards if he thought he was healthy enough, he said, I'm as fit as a bull moose. And that's Brian Olcott, right? He's a moose, as Teddy Roosevelt was a moose. So I mean it with high praise when I say these things. And why do I mean that about Brian is because Brian had the knack of showing up absolutely when we needed him most, right? This was a team in every sense of the word. But there are 3 games that stick out in my mind where the team wasn't clicking, we weren't playing our best. The Grandview game, the Ponderosa game, and that Fairview game at times. Brian, in those games combined, scored 9 goals. 9 goals in 3 games when the team needed him most, right? And that is Brian trying to will this team to victory. And that's how much his teammates meant to him, right? Brian scored 20 goals this season in 17 games, as he missed a game against Boulder. All the while getting next to 0 protection from referees in this league. I can't tell you how many times Brian's running down the field with like 2 or 3 guys just grabbing him, hanging on him. Mountain Vista was throwing guys at his legs to try to stop him. And that was every single game for Brian. And every single game, Brian fought through the grabbing, the clutching to score. And to me, that makes those 20 goals seem more like 40, which he could have had. It took him out a few times, right? When he could have even had more. And so with that in mind, Brian was honored as a first-team All-Continental League player, right, by the coaches. Brian was honored as a first-team All-State Academic Team player with a 3.7 GPA. But Brian is also the Continental League's Player of the Year, as voted on by the coaches of the Continental League. And not only was he the Continental League coach or Player of the Year, the other coaches were so unanimously in support that not one other coach even dared nominate a player against him. That's how much they respected what Brian had done this year. And in my money, Brian's the best player we saw in the state this year. So Brian, well done.